morning, everyone, and welcome to Coffee with Chrissy. It's been another week, and we saw spring, and now we're back to winter. So, we got to roll with the punches, which really brings me to this week and what kind of crazy week it was. To be honest with you, the first 2 days, the kids didn't have school, and so that always throws a monkey wrench in everything, right? So the schedule's not the same, nothing's going to doing the same, nothing's the same, right? So I had planned for that because I knew that was happening. Of course, I didn't know that was happening until way earlier, not way earlier, like just late last week, right? Because it's like I almost can't think more than 1 week at a time, and that's okay, except for if that's the way you're gonna think. You can't be surprised by some of the consequences. So anyway, so Monday and Tuesday were whatever, they were days. Wednesday we went to the cities and went to the doctor and followed up with the surgeon, and they've decided to do an MRI and another CT scan and maybe some physical therapy. So that's really good. And then Wednesday night, Thursday, we had a snowstorm and the kids got to stay home yesterday, which I'm sure I just got to tell you, it's like they never go to school. Honest to God, I don't remember when I was a kid, I had to beg for a snow day. We rarely had days off. Teachers didn't have workshops every other couple of weeks. And not saying that they don't need them. I'm not saying that. I'm saying as one of the sandwich generations, and if you don't know what that is, it is people who are supporting their grandkids, their kids, and their parents, right? Like I feel like a triple decker sandwich sometimes. Anyway, in this particular sandwich generation, part of the sandwich lives with me. So, and it's wonderful. It's amazing. And I gotta tell you, it's hilarious. So the first couple days produced, so him and Papa were having a conversation and he was trying to tell Papa what to do as far as the remote. And all of a sudden I heard, Papa, you're not listening. You are not a good listener. And I just busted out laughing because I didn't know what else to do because it was funny as heck, right? So I'm starting to see a shift, like we're moving into a different place with the 3-year-old, soon to be 4. And he's really starting to say some interesting things. So he always wants to play with Papa, and they play this concentration, which is a matching game, right? They have just go fish, and I don't know. Anyway, he's really super good at it, and he beats Papa all the time. And well, Papa's actually trying, so that makes it funnier. But he wants to play as soon as Papa gets out of bed. And I was trying to tell him that, he needs to wake up. We need to give Papa a break, all those things, right? And that was awesome. That was great. Okay. Until, way later, and we played games and we did all these things, And so he goes into the sun porch and I go behind him because Jeff's in there, and he goes, Grandma, Papa and I just need some space. And I thought, what? And he's like, we need some space. We're going to play now. And I thought, oh my gosh, isn't that so funny? Right? So then a little while later, he wanted to go to the lake, and I'm not, no, we can't go to the lake. No, just because you want to go, we just can't go. And he threw the biggest fit, and he stomped into his room and he slammed the door, and I didn't see him for like 20 minutes. And I thought, wow, we are really moving into a different situation. So it was hilariously fun, and it was living in the middle of uncertainty, meaning that I was personally terrified about, I don't know if terrified, I wasn't quite terrified, but I wasn't looking forward to the doctor's meeting, if you will, right? Because he's been in a really bad place. He swears he's not going to let anyone touch him, not do anything, right? So I'm like, okay, so this should be fun. So we went there, and it didn't turn out anything like I thought it would. I think we talked about that earlier. And what did I need to have happen out of that meeting is something I'm truly starting to ask myself before we even get there, because because I want to make sure that I'm not looking for emotional support and I'm looking for actual action steps, right? Took me a long time to figure out that if I'm going there to get emotional support to the doctor, that's not where that's going to come from. And I used to leave pissed off every time. So it's just not going to come from there. So anyway, the doctor comes in and he's talking to Jeff and all these things. And he starts to talk about how he's just a mechanic and how he can put in the new parts, but it's not guaranteed to work. And and Jeff and I are very snarky. It's something that was in our wedding vows. It's something that we do all the time, right? So I turned to Jeff and he's like, just a mechanic. And I'm like, well, that explains why that yellow shirt is so sexy on you, is because I bought a lemon. You're my lemon. And the doctor goes, oh, no, no, I didn't mean it like that. And it was so funny because I just busted out laughing. And Jeff looks at him and goes, well, it's a good thing she's good at making lemonade. Oh my gosh, it was so hilarious. I almost died laughing. But the doctor, I forgot that we don't hang out with him, right? So he doesn't really know us. So when I turn to my husband and tell him that I really got a lemon, I suppose I did hit kind of wrong, but it was so hilarious. We're still laughing about it. But I'm sure that doctor went out and talked to the nurses and just kind of, it was a good laugh because we were still laughing when the nurse came in. But any Hoosers, but here's the moral of that story. He signed up to do an MRI and a CT scan and do physical therapy, which he has not signed up for years. So from going to, I'm not going to do anything to, okay, what? Okay. Okay. All right. So that turned out way better than I thought it would. So it was kind of a kind of thing, right? So then by Thursday morning, 2 hours late, I was like, oh, I can do 2 hours late. And then they decided it's an e-learning day. What? What's an e-learning day? Oh, they get to stay home. They get to stay home. That is an e-learning day. Yay! So we took out the e-learning packet and we did a bunch of projects and I decided that my to-do list this week, which also we've talked about just being a basic wish list, totally turned into a pipe dream. And I'm okay with that because I decided very early Thursday morning that I was just going to lean into whatever it is, right? Instead of trying to resist and be pissed off and all that stuff because they canceled school and you screwed up my day and blah blah blah, all the things, right? I just leaned in. We went for a walk. We did a lot of stuff. We played a lot of games, and I'm telling you, I kick butt at Candyland, just so you know. So it's really trying to live in the middle of uncertainty. Uncertainty, like, are you ever going to go back to school? Because this is a lot. And all those other different things, right? And just finding the joy and remembering to just slow down. And that to do list is always going to haunt you. I don't know how to get rid of that. Maybe I can look into that. But at the same time, if I would have been so stuck on what should have been, I would have never been engaged in the present. So, and well, the sandwich thing is kind of hard. It's really kind of hard because there's uncertainty in every single spot. So if you're living that dream, because it is amazing, I'm not even gonna lie, I am really enjoying it. But I'm feeling like I'm kind of needing a little vacation. And what does that mean? Maybe a day out by myself to rest and restore. Because it's a lot. It's a lot of people coming at you. If you want peace and quiet, my house is not the place to get it. So anyway, I wanted to just give you some funnies, remind you to live in the middle of life because life's always going to happen. It's never going to happen the way we think it's going to. And some weeks you're going to get more done than others. And well, frankly, if I remember correctly, I did actually get a couple meetings in and things scheduled. And so it wasn't all lost. But if I don't remind myself of the good things that happen, I'm really going to stay in that stuck place. And that's not serving me. And it's certainly not serving you. So just a reminder to all of us. So this week's joke, are you ready? I looked out the window and I saw these two blackbirds stuck together. It turns out they were Velcros. Get it? Velcro? So funny. All right, guys. You are doing an amazing job. Remember, all you can do is the next right thing, and it will always be the next right answer. So take care. Peace out. You got this, and we'll see you next week. Remember to like and share and do all that stuff and subscribe and all that. I'm working on all that.